Today, in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's our topic is not only current, but it's very relevant. And this topic is, I can say it's a topic which is very relevant, not for now, but from the centuries. And the today's topic is Youth Conclave of on Generation Gap. It is not a generation gap, it's an ideology gap. Generation gap is not painful if there is no communication gap. Every generation needs regeneration. A generation gap or generational gap is a difference of opinions between one generation and another regarding beliefs, politics, or values. In today's usage, generation gap often refers to a perceived gap between younger people and their parents or grandparents. Early sociologists such as Karl Mannheim noted differences among generations in how the youth transits into adulthood and studied the ways in which generations separate themselves from one another in the home and in social situations and areas such as churches, temples, clubs, senior centers, and youth centers. The sociological theory of a generation gap first came to light in the 1960s when the younger generation, later known as baby boomers, seemed to go against everything their parents had previously believed in terms of music, values, governmental and political views, as well as cultural tastes. Sociologists now refer to generation gap as institutional age segregation. Usually, when any of these age groups is engaged in its primary activity, the individual members are physically isolated from people of other generations with little interaction across age barriers except at the nuclear family level. It can be distinguished by the differences in their language use. The generation gap has created a parallel gap in language that can be difficult to communicate across. This issue is one visible throughout society, creating complications within a day-to-day communication at home, in the workplace, and within schools. As new generations seek to define themselves as something apart from the old, they adopt new lingo and slang, allowing a generation to create a sense of division from the previous one. This is a visible gap between generations we see every day. Man's most important symbol is his language, and through his language, he defines his reality. Slang is an ever-changing set of colloquial words and phrases that speakers use to establish or reinforce social identity or cohesiveness within a group or with a trend in society at large. As each successive generation of society struggles to establish its own unique identity among its predecessors, it can be determined that generational gaps provide a large influence over the continual change and adaptation of slang. As slang is often regarded as an ephemeral dialect, a constant supply of new words is required to meet the demands of the rapid change in characteristics, and while most slang terms maintain a fairly brief duration of popularity, slang provides a quick and readily available vernacular screen to establish and maintain generational gaps in a societal context. Every generation develops new slang, but with the development of technology, understanding gaps have widened between the older and younger generations. The term communication skills, for example, might mean formal writing and speaking ability to an older worker, but it might mean email and instant messenger savvy to a 20-something. People often have private conversations in secret in a crowded room in today's age due to the advances of mobile phones and text messages. Among texters, a form of slang or texting lingo has developed often keeping those not as tech-savvy out of the loop. Children increasingly rely on personal technological devices like cell phones to define themselves and create social circles apart from their families, changing the way they communicate with their parents. Cell phones, instant messaging, email, and the like have encouraged younger users to create their own inventive, quickery, and very private written language. That has given them the opportunity to essentially hide in plain sight. They are more connected than ever, but also far more independent. Text messaging, in particular, has perhaps become this generation's version of Pig Latin. While in the case with language skills such as shorthand, a system of stenography popular during the 20th century, technological innovations occurring between generations have made these skills obsolete. Older generations used shorthand to be able to take notes and write faster using abbreviated symbols rather than having to write each word. However, with new technology and keyboard, newer generations no longer need these older communication skills like Greg shorthand. Although over 20 years ago, language skills such as shorthand classes were taught in many places, now students have rarely seen or even heard of forms like shorthand. The transition from each level of life span development have remained the same throughout history. They have all shared the same basic milestones in their travel from childhood through midlife and into retirement. However, while the pathway remains the same, that is attending school, marriage, raising families, retiring, the actual journey varies not only with each individual, but with each new generation. For instance, as time goes on, technology is being introduced to individuals at younger and younger ages. While the baby boomers had to introduce Atari and VCRs to their parents, millennials had to teach their parents how to maneuver such things as DVRs, cell phones, and social media. There is a vast difference in generations Y's and the baby boomers when it comes to technology. In 2011, the National Sleep Foundation conducted a poll that focused on sleep and the use of technology. 95% of those polled admitted to using some form of technology within the last hour before going to bed at night. The study compared the differences in sleep pattern in those who watch TV or listen to music prior to bedtime compared to those who use cell phones, video games, and the internet. The study looked at baby boomers born between 1946 to 1964, Generation Xers born between 1965 to 1979, Generation Yers born between 1980 to 94, and Generation Zers born 1995 onwards. The research, as expected, shows generational gaps between the different forms of technology used. The largest gap was shown between texting and talking on the phone. 56% of Gen Zers and 42% of Gen Yers admitted to sending, receiving, reading text messages every night within 1 hour prior to bedtime, compared to only 15% of Gen Xers and 5% of baby boomers. Baby boomers were more likely to watch TV within the last hour prior to bedtime, 67% compared to millennials who came in at 49%. When asked about computer internet use within the last hour prior to bedtime, 70% of those polled admitted to using a computer a few times a week, and from those, 55% of the Gen Zers said they surf the web every night before bed. Generation gap exists in some form or the other in every stage of life. While in most cases it is considered to be bad for the family and society, it might actually turn out to be good and fruitful if viewed in a positive manner. Let's try to understand how good or bad the generation gap can be. There are two important things no human being can avoid: growing old and death. With every passing day, we humans grow older and supposedly more mature. Each and every moment seems to have something or the other in store for us. We tend to take in a lot of experience, good and bad. But more importantly, we tend to learn from our experiences and from our mistakes. Notably enough, whatever we learn is completely based on the current norms which are prevalent in society in which we are born and raised. It also depends on the kind of domestic atmosphere we live in, which in turn is also largely influenced by the social trends. Therefore, it is quite obvious for a person born and brought up in 1800s to have a completely different mindset up from the one born and brought up in 1900s or later. The problem arises when people belongs to different generations start attempting to impose their viewpoints on each other. This tug of war is commonly known as the generation gap. Generation gap can thus be defined as the difference in opinions and outlooks of the people belonging to two different generations. With all the implications that generation gap may have, it can be both good and bad. It is good because it enables people belonging to different generations to look at the same thing with different perspectives. It also cultivates within people an attitude of assimilation and tolerance. What is even more important is the fact that it opens up arenas of new ideas and thoughts for people. It also helps people experience and learn new things and technologies, which in the long run may help them in a great way. However, it is important for people to learn to let go and give a keen eye, ear, and thought to the problems and understandings of the younger generation. Generation gap may turn out to be bad when people refuse to listen to the other generation or reject their ideas completely. This may result in bad and broken relationships. But even though there may be seemingly great ideological conflicts between different generations, overcoming them and bridging the generation gap is possible. The only thing people need to do is to open up their minds and accept new things with an open heart. Of course, filtering the good and the bad is always vital, but it depends on the social setup of a particular era. The basic key is a change which needs to be incorporated in life. Conflicts, major and minor, happens everywhere, but generation gap has certain peculiar determinant. This is owing to the fact that each generation has its own trends and its own ways to look at things and interpret them. The first and foremost determinant of an obvious generation gap is the language that people of different generations may use. For instance, in a family, the grandparents may prefer to speak in a native tongue. The parents might prefer the current national language, while the children may use slang while they speak. It may also be possible that the later generations might not know the language spoken by the older ones. This may create a sort of rift between two generations. Another obvious factor that determines a generation gap is the choice of apparel. Each and every generation has their own choice of clothing. This does not pertain to fashion, but the kind of clothes which are worn. It is pretty apparent in many cases that people of the older generation do not quite like the attire which the younger generation sometimes wear. On the other hand, youngsters argue that their clothes are in and trendy and dismiss the ones worn by their parents and grandparents as being very uncomfortable and old-fashioned. The third and most important determinant of generation gap is the amount of technology that is used by people of different generations. With the passage of time and greater technological advancements, the younger generation, the latest and the most advanced technologies at their disposal. They believe they can achieve virtually anything by a mere click of a button. Many times this assumption or views is contested by the older generation, saying that the younger generation is completely dependent on technology and cannot stand on their own. Apart from ones mentioned above, there are numerous other identifying factors of a generation gap. The point being that these factors, which seem simple on the surface, have a capacity to stretch the rift between two generations to a point that relationships may actually break. However, by maintaining a positive outlook, sometimes one can troubleshoot the problems posed by the generation gap. If taken in a positive way, generation gap can create a perfect, harmonious blend of passion and courage of the young and the experience and wisdom of the old. Now, to discuss this very, very important and relevant topic, we have 7 youth with us and we have our chief guest. And I would like to introduce, and welcome our chief guest of today's program. She is Dr. Sundari Gandhi. Dr. Sundari Gandhi was the vice principal and head of the Department of Psychology and Mass Media at Maharishi Dayanand College, Mumbai. Dr. Gandhi has been very successful as a therapist, teacher, and instructor for the past 25 years. She is a member of the board of examiners for PhDs at the Chennai University. She has completed her work on her DLit on extent of paraphilics in the gay community, a cross-cultural comparison. Dr. Gandhi has been regularly invited as a resource person by corporate sectors, colleges, universities, RBI, associations, etc. She has conducted several workshops on stress management, personality development, Reiki, assertive training, and laughter therapy. Child psychology workshops, little adult for pediatricians all over the country was successfully completed by Dr. Sundari Gandhi from year 2007 to 2010. From 2012 to 2017, she was the director for a set of training workshops for pediatricians titled Cracking the Kids Code, which was held in 35 centers across India. She was the director of Indus Viva Early Learning Center for the Specially Abled at Bengaluru. From the center, she actively counsels more than 60 clients all over the world. She is a Reiki Grandmaster and has been teaching Reiki for 25 years. She is also an expert in EMDR, a therapy for PTSD. She is a practicing yoga master. She has undertaken a course in art of living. Dr. Sundari Gandhi has keen interest in research and published several research papers in reputed national and international journals. Welcome, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, on our show. Dr. Sundari Gandhi, you heard what I read about the generation gap. And you've been such an experienced person yourself, and you have seen 3 generations now. Rather, I may say even 4 or 5 generations, older one and your present one and the youngest one. And you might have also come across this generation gap. But we would like to know your views on generation gap. Dr. Sundari Gandhi, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for this wonderful opportunity. A very good morning to the new generation, which is there sitting on the panel to discuss this topic. It's always been mind-boggling. It has always made me to ponder as a psychologist as to what this generation gap is all about. So I'll give a quick peek or review into this most important topic. Why do I say most important topic? Because as a counselor, as a therapist, there are so many of my clients, young clients coming in, and one important thing they say is, oh my God, doc, my parents don't understand me. My grandparents, oh my God, वो हमेशा किट करते रहते हैं. Okay, what is this किट about? वो सब चीज में डॉक्टर, कपड़ा ऐसे पहनो, रात में इतना लेट नहीं आओ, ये नहीं खाओ, तो बाल ऐसे काटो, बाल लंबा करो, and everything they have something to say. So what is this generation gap? Going to the topic. It's a very interesting topic, Mr. Goel. It's youth conclave and generation gap. What is this youth conclave? I'm coming to that part of it first. Youth in any country are considered to be the most powerful conclave or association of group. Everybody has to agree. And in fact, हमारी ज़माने में, when we were youth, oh, that period is always a Josh ka period. You know, when you're a young adult from your 20s, it starts with teens. I'm not saying no, but the youth as such, 18 onwards to 30, 35, are on top of the world. They feel we can win anything, we can achieve anything, we can reach anywhere. Because that much of energy they have, yes, they are the most creative people in their lifespan. If you look at the brain, it is the youth in whom the brain is most active in terms of learning, in terms of decision making, in terms of creativity. Oh, exactly. Second thing you notice is when you become a parent, I don't know how many of you are already married or you have a child. You're all students, of course. But Mr. Goyal and others will agree with me. As a parent, you realize that your child, as the child is growing, has different opinions. Maybe till 10 or 12, they're ready to listen to what you are saying. They are like Reader's Digest, where there was an article. It says children, before they reach their teens, are like puppies. Puppy behavior. What does a puppy do? Whatever you say, puppy will listen. Wag its tail. When you call, the puppy wants to be hugged and petted, etc. But 12 liar, again, many parents complain, oh my God, usko to ho gaya doctor. What happens when you're in teens? You become like cats. How do cats behave? Do they like being petted whenever you call them? No. You put the food for them? No, they will eat it when they want. They are very independent. So, if you look at human behavior across the lifespan, this is something that all elderly generation must understand and must accept. Your children, till they enter teens, are going to be completely listening to what you say because you are the role models. But once they enter teens, story is different. Once they are young adults, the story is very different. They'll come back and say, my friends did this. I want to do it that way. Hairstyle ho, khane ka style ho, khelne ka style ho, padne ka style ho, whatever it is. My friends are doing it. I want to do it. This generation is like that, Mama. What do you know? You don't know anything about my generation. So, youth by itself are a very powerful population because they can create a country, they can create a world, or they can destroy the world. They are that powerful. Now, what is this generation gap? As Mr. Goyal was saying, the generation gap is defined as the chasm that separates the thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions, etc., between members of two different groups. It could be two, it could be two or more. As Mr. Goyal was saying, I have seen 4 generations. In fact, getting ready to see the 5th generation. I have seen my grandparents, I have seen my parents, then I became a parent, my children, my great-grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. So you can imagine what kind of journeys we would have seen, right? Now, it is specifically the differences in the thought or mindset of people in different generations. In that case, how many generations are there? As Mr. Goyal said, the first generation which was identified way back during the World War, they were called traditionalists. My mother and father belonged to that group. Why were they traditionalists? You must remember one thing. Theirs was a period, as they were growing, a period of insecurity. The Great Depression was there. So they were more into trying to find security through war. They didn't have technology. They don't have science so much. So they used conformity. What is conformity? Sticking to rigid rules. Who sets the rules? The society at that time. So they blindly believed in the rules. And that helped them to lead their life. I don't deny it or I don't demean it. Yes, their rules help them to live life happily. But what happened with the second generation, the baby boomers? which came in 1960. I am a baby boomer group. I was born in 1960. World had stabilized. A little more stability was there. So as I grew, my opinions would have changed. There was no insecurity at that time. There were no wars. There was no economic challenges. My parents were working. Many of us in the 1960s could get good education, could see a little bit of the world. So our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions were different from our traditionals. Now, there was always a clash. Traditionalists, my grandparents and my parents, what they told about my dress code or my hair, they wanted me to have a long hair. Somehow when I became a teen, I started looking at it differently because I was a baby boomer group. I said, how can you manage such long hair? Why can't I cut it? In fact, another simple example that I would like to tell you is going to the beauty parlor was a sin for my generation. Because my mother or my grandmother would say, oh my God, how can you go to the beauty parlor? That is below your morals. But for me, the thought had changed from it is not moral or ethical to it is hygienic. So that was a struggle. Got it? Another major issue, marriage. Traditionalists believe that marriage should be traditional. Kuch se hai na? Traditional marriage hai, love marriage hai. In the 1960s, 70s, when I was growing in 70s and 80s, the love marriage was, oh, terrible. If anybody says, I'm going for a love marriage, that's all, you're shunned from society. But a baby boomer will think, so what? Why can't I choose my partner? What is wrong in that? So this gap was there between the two generations. Then came the third generation, what you call the 1965 to 80 born group, the generation X. Usme kya hua? Computer aaya, TV aaya. Yes, you'll be surprised if you hear, I saw a TV only in 1980. Till then, there was no TV. There was only a landline, no mobile phone, no computers. They were all, my God, they were all X for us. And we didn't understand any of it. Now, these 80s born, computers had come, laptops had come, they were a little more open to things. So what happened? Their thinking was slightly different. Then came the fourth generation, the so-called millennials. How were they? The 1981 to 96 born. Many of the young on this group will be from that group. Or maybe the generation Z, the Zetters. Okay, you could belong to that group. But what happened with the millennials? Babies, children who were born, got mobiles in their hands. They got, parents would proudly say, oh my God, my child can use the mobile. My child can use the computer. How smart he or she is. Now, along with the changing technology, there were changes in how we ate food, how we dressed, how we behaved, how we acted, how we wanted to study. Even studies, let me tell you, there's a vast gap between traditionalists and what you call today the Generation Z. Yes, my students, I would ask them, Acha, exam aa rahe hain, padhai ho gaya? Ah, madam, who will study? We will study one day before. That's it. In my generation, it was preparing the whole year. I don't know how it was during Mr. Goen's time. We would prepare the whole year and we will be ready by the time exam comes. Nowadays, students say, that is a waste of time. We have other methods. So technology interfered in every generation. I was talking about Generation X. Then came the millennials who were digital natives. I often tell my colleagues and my parents, as a joke, I tell them, hey, look, I suffer from a disability. I suffer from a learning disability. What is that? Just like you have dyscalculia or dysgraphia or dyslexia, I suffer from what is called dyscomputeria. It took me so much time to understand the computers. When I would be making notes, my colleagues will be simply taking their phone with all your apps, quickly take a look. And they would tell me, ma'am, why are you struggling like this? So, what you are and what we are is a very, very different thing. Yes? So, what you youngsters have to understand, and same with the older group, what we have to understand is everything changes. Nothing is stagnant, except for the word change. Yes, everything else changes. In that case, does the brain, the human behavior, meaning when you say thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, actions, where do they generate from? They all generate from here. So is the brain also evolving, changing? Yes. And that change depends upon, yes, your hereditary, I'm not saying no, but your environment. Your environment keeps changing as you move through your lifespan, as you move from one generation to another generation. I may have begun with the baby boomers. I'm still alive now in Generation Z. So my mind has been changing and accepting things. It has to accept. If it doesn't, I'm going to stagnate and going to have problems. Same with the youngsters. When you are in Gen Z, please don't think, oh my God, ये बुड्ढे लोगों का और कुछ काम नहीं है. Keep करते रहते हैं. No, try to understand them. They have lived in a different era. Maybe they are stuck to their old attitudes. It is no fault of theirs if they are not able to move ahead. I have noticed this in the traditionalist group. Maybe because of the high insecurity, because of the world war and all that. My mother, for instance, was a highly qualified person, but was very rigid with her attitude. They would believe that shirt pen for girls is a no-no. Yes, पढ़ाई कर सकते थे. This is a no-no. But for us, we have accepted it. So please, youngsters, bear with your older ones because wisdom is there. Old is gold. I'm not saying no. We have to learn quite a few things from them. I have inherited quite a lot of things from my grandfather's time. I picked up the best ones and I've continued to live with whatever I felt was most apt for the time I was living in. Meaning, I can be in a sari also. I can be traditional also. I can be in shorts also. I can be in a pant also. I can do what I want. Because my daughter-in-laws or my children who live in US are definitely going to wonder if I go around with a sari, although they say it's beautiful, but it's not convenient. Yes. See, when I was working in Mumbai, I had to go to college early in the morning. And I had to climb stairs, no lift there, 3 floors. As vice principal, I had to run from one room to another room. That was okay in my earlier years. But as I crossed my 40s, I realized accidents could happen. I could trip over my sari, fall and hurt myself. So I changed myself. To what? I easily changed myself to a kurta and a pajama. My friends would say, Sundari, what happened to all your beautiful saris? I would say they're all in the cupboard, they're meant for occasions. I can't come here running with a sari. So, what I'm telling you, young minds, is think. What is the richness? What is the greatness you can get from the earlier generations? There have been beautiful innovations, inventions, because scientific thinking and generation does not have a connection. There were great thinkers in those years also. Generation is nothing but your current behavior determined by your experiences. So take the best from them. Don't neglect them. They can give you rich lessons. And the same with the older generation. Please remember, once you are 60, step back. You are in that generation, what you call the old age or the retirement age. That doesn't mean your body behavior or your dressing style has to change. You have to start saying, I'm old, I can't do anything. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, keep your mind open. Remain young in mind, what we call young old. Old people can be classified into two. The old and the young old. Young old are people who may be biologically old, but are extremely young at mind. Yes. So learn what the youngsters can teach you. Don't have a block. Now, as I end my little talk, I just want to ask one question to all of you, because as a clinical psychologist, as a researcher, this is a thought that has come into my mind. Generation gap, does it apply only to generations in society, or within each one of us? Each one of us is going through the lifespan. I was a baby once, a little girl, then a school girl, teenager, blah, 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 got married, young lady, a mother, etc. Today I'm old. So, could there be gaps between the various roles that I play in my lifespan? And could that cause a generation gap? Meaning, as a psychologist, I would say there is a kind of fixation in some people who are fixed to the traditional part which they were born with, and they're not able to cope with the modern part which is existing now. And that could be causing so many problems, relationship issues. Girl, maybe listen to it now. The big talk is love marriage is better or arranged marriage is better. They say, oh my God, love marriage. Today they get married, tomorrow divorce. What is causing this misunderstanding? Is it simply a generation gap between the two partners? They both may be young, but one may have a traditional attitude, one may have a millennial attitude, that may be clashing. If we look at it this way, can we solve problems better, and can we make the world a better place to live? That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sundari, for giving such an elaborate and very, very, I must say, very inspirational. You have the way you have spoken. I'm sure that whether the older generation, the newer generation are been inspired by you. There should not be a generation gap. And to be very frank, there is no generation gap. It all depends on the mindset of the person. I would like to add two things in what she has mentioned. First is, I have seen 6 generations, from my great-grandfather to my grandchildren. And one more thing which I would like to add. Now there is one more class has been added, that is called Jiddi class, or the stubborn class. That is from 3 years to 12 years. Now this class is such a class that today if you have, you will see a young child of 3 years old, he or she will decide what to wear. And once he or she will what to eat. And when they will become more, they become elder, say 4 years or 5 years older, then they will also decide where to go. And 6 or 7 years, they will decide your dressing. Mother, mom, please wear this sari, don't wear this sari, this color, that color. So this new class, which now all the marketing people are targeting, because they think that this class is going to decide the all the to purchase whatsoever you want to purchase. So now that puppy class has converted in the Siddhi class or stubborn class. So this is again a new generation has come. I'm sure all our youth who have the younger brother or sister, if they have of this age, they can very well see where what they have behaved even far advanced their young children, because of the advancement of the mobile, because they have seen the mobile from the birth. Many of our youth might have not seen from the birth. They might have seen after 4 or 5 years, but nowadays those are coming, they are getting the mobile. So thank you very much, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, for giving very, very good views. I like one point which is very, very relevant. I am sure people should understand. What you said is that even at same generation, there can be a generation gap, especially husband and wife. If one person is from the traditional values, believes in the traditional value, and the other believes in the latest values, then there is a conflict and then the divorce. It's a very, very relevant point. I never thought of it. I am sure we must tell the divorce counselors that they should counsel, they should see the backgrounds, or the marriage counselors, the marriage, those fixing the marriage, that they must see what is that mindset of the boy and what is the mindset of the girl before fixing the marriage. Thank you very much, Dr. Sundari Gandhi. Now I would like to invite my youth guest, and my first youth guest is Mr. Aditya Samaga. Mr. Aditya, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi. Now, please unmute yourself, Mr. Aditya. So now we would like to know from you your views on generation gap. Mr. Aditya Samaga, please.
Good morning, Goyal sir. And good morning, Sundari ma'am. Nowadays, there
Please,
is
please, 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 please speak loudly. We can't hear
okay,
you.
sir.
First, introduce yourself. Please speak loudly.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
My name is Aditya Samaga. I am currently studying as a CS student in Madhvavadiraja Institute of Technology and Management, Udupi. I am a second year student. As Sundari ma'am said, there is a generation gap between present generation and our previous generation. It may be good and it may be bad, but there is a mainly the generation gap is due to drastic change in technology. Technology is changing suddenly and we cannot adapt to that technology. Going back to 3 to 4 decades back, everyone doesn't contain smartphone, but nowadays almost all people have smartphones and uh, they are addicted to it and they are overusing it. Due to this, patience is being reduced in today's youth. Our parents had lots of patience. Um, they were patient in each and everything, I guess, in many of the things. But today, due to smartphone, everything is instant. If we want to book a cab, it's instant. Just one click, we can book a cab. But in those olden days, they used to patiently wait for the cabs and then use it. Everything is getting instantly in social media. Uh, Social media such as Facebook, Instagram use instant happiness. So I think we are lacking in patience, which is the most important quality, and that's why we are not even patient to listen to our parents. We every time gets irritated when they speak to us. Another thing is about nuclear family. Due to Western culture, maybe our grandparents and our parents may be living separately due to some issues, or again, this is the one of the effect of generation gap. Due to this, what happens is the values that our grandparents have, that will not be transferred to us, and it cannot be moved on further to the next generation. Then another thing that is the main reason for this gap is tradition. Tradition is one of the reason for generation gap. Our elders wants to practice us traditions, their old tradition, but we do not want to follow it. We want to be modern and we want to follow Western culture completely. I agree that we have to adopt Western culture for some extent, but we also have to think that those religious practices have some scientific reasons behind that. We have to think about that. Some of the religious practices are superstitious. I agree that completely. But many of the scientific rituals, many of the traditional rituals and practices have scientific reasons behind that. So we have to follow our tradition, and thus the gap may be reduced. Then the most important thing is communication. Today we are seeing lack of communication between parents and children. If I consider parents and children, we have a lack of communication. One reason may be, which is smallest reason, I guess, both the parents will be going to work, and mm, there will be no sufficient time to speak with their children. Another thing is smartphone. Normally we can see it with the youths. uh, we used to scroll down the smartphones and become addictive to that. So whenever parents talk to us, we are impatient, and we will be getting irritated. So smartphone affects the communication gap a lot. I don't say technology, but smartphone and overusage of social media is the biggest cause for generation gap. It cuts the communication. uh, while using smartphone, the children will be scrolling down through their phones and they will be speaking simultaneously, so there will be no eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most important thing in communication. Without eye contact, we cannot exchange our feelings properly. So eye contact should be there, and face to face contact is very important. Parents want to obey their children. The parents want to obey their words. but children wants to lead their own life. Here, both of them are correct. But as youths, we have to think that parents has more experience than us. They have seen success and failures. They have gone through lots of ups and downs. We have to think about it, and we have to listen to them. But sometimes parents may also be wrong. They may also have to be compromised with us.
Please be brief.
Okay. Then parents should express the failure stories with them. Due to prestige issues or some other things, the parents will not be expressing their failure stories with them. So when parents imposes tough rules on the children, they will be get irritated. And lastly, whenever we are living with our family, we have to at least keep our smartphone aside and we have to talk with them. In olden days, people used to gather together in a joint family, and they used to have a conversation with each other. So according to me, the main reason for generation gap is the overuse of social media and completely adopting the Western culture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aditya. You have mentioned many points, but one point which you are raising is about the Western culture. We say Western culture is bad, but are you adopting the Western culture wholly, or you are adopting the Western culture selectively? In Western countries, if you take the example of USA, a child of 12 or 13 years started working. Are you also working here in India? No. So to say that Western culture we are adopting and that's why the generation gap, no, this is not the generation gap, because the young generation or whichever generation, they are adopting the Western culture which are beneficial for them, but where they have to take some responsibility, where they are responsible for the society, that they are not doing. So that's why to blame only Western culture is not correct, but you are right 100% that the overuse of mobile phone or the social media is creating a rift between the younger generation and the older generation. But the fault lies also with the older generation, which I will be discussing when I will be talking to the next guest because of the paucity of time. I thank you very much, Mr. Aditya, for making so many points in such a short time. It's remarkable. Now, my next guest is Miss Apeksha Hegde. Miss Apeksha, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well as the earlier youth guest. Now, we would like to know from you your views on generation gap.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Apeksha Hegde, and I am from Mangalore. Currently, I am pursuing my MBA in Justice at the Institute of Management, Karkala. And I am happy to talk about this topic, generation gap. Generation gap is everlasting social phenomenon. Different generations have their different opinions of their values, attitudes, and lifestyle. And all generations have their set of values and views, and they want to uphold their principles they believe in. And for example, old people always have their fixed belief practices, customs, and they think those are better. But when youngsters think that they have to be replaced with new thoughts and new ideologies for the new age. And people born in different time period under different conditions have their own based on their circumstances they have been through. And everyone everyone to live and behave in his or her own way, and then they cannot be compromised with their views and values. So this is the reason why the dispute between the families arises. The elder looks after their children and thinks that if they sacrifice everything on their children, like investing on their children's education and making them stable in life, this makes children's that feel very rigid and feel uncomfortable because of pressure and competitiveness. And there will be a communication gap because they have because they may have a lack of uh, comfort zone between the parents and the children. Due to fast moving world modern lifestyles, parents and children have hardly find time to gather and spend time together. This enable the children to take advice from their friends and those who are not experienced as parents. And today's kids are born into competitive world and have struggles to get everything. Many of time, many children's truly have a potential and have truly have a potential and in a rat race, those potentials gets overshaded. And parents burdened with the expectations of the society pressure their children to make their pressure their children to make them successful according to their parents, and they give less importance to the children's thoughts, and they do not listen to the children's. And on the other hand, parents think that they want their children to be like what they want, but they never listen to their children what they want to be. And this makes the children oppressed and they tend to be turned rebellious. In early days, there are 2 to 3 generations lived together, and there was a very slow development in the environment. But nowadays, the world is getting advanced day by day, and even as Mr. Aditya mentioned that there is a development in technology. Nowadays, parents don't understand the modern technologies, equipments, and gadgets what children use. Because of that, there will be a rise of conflicts. So parents think that those are very bad for the children, but instead they could be very helpful for the development of the children. Sometimes overuse of those gadgets might be harmful, but that depends on the children what and how they use. So that children thinks that children thinks their parents as enemies, and who do not let them do so by staying late nights and wearing fashionable clothes and etc. And choosing their own friends. And
Please be brief.
oh, okay, sir. I can conclude by saying that these generation gaps can be filled with by sitting together with the family, by having a nice dinner and talking to them and sharing their experience. These communication barriers can be ice broken. And I could conclude by telling that if you want happiness in a lifetime, help the next generation. This is a Chinese proverb. So it is not only the responsibility of a youngster, but also a responsibility of the elders to be loved and affection and trust. And that's it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Apeksha Hegde. You have raised a very important point, and that is the main crux. That is the expectation. The senior, older generation always have expectation from the children. If this expectation goes off, then there is no generation gap. But the problem with the older generation is they want the child should be the best in the world. It is not possible. Let the child should decide what he or she wants to become. Let them give the free hand. Then only there will be no generation gap. And this is the one of the main point which you have raised is correct. The expectation, because they want to show off to the society that my child has done this thing. So it is not the interest of the child, but their own ego of the older generation. I'm talking from my side, so they're representing the older generation, that we are doing the harm and we are creating the generation gap not the younger generation. So this time I am talking towards the in the favor of younger generation. Thank you very much, Ms. Apeksha, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next youth guest, and she is Miss Poonam D. Kharat. Miss Poonam, you have heard the chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well as the earlier youth guest. One moment, I think. I'm short. Okay, so you have heard earlier youth guest. Ms. Kharat, some disturbance is coming. Okay, please tell your views on generation gap. Poonam D. Kharat, please.
Good morning, sir.
Speak loudly, please.
Hello.
Speak loudly.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, respected Ms. Sundari ma'am and youth guests.
Some problem, Miss Poonam, there is a problem from your side, audio problem. Please change the situation wherever you are. Some problem is on, so I will take you afterwards. Mute yourself, get yourself to think, then I will take you in the next turn. Okay, please mute yourself. Please mute. Please mute yourself, please. And get it, if you want to log out, you can log out and then again log in, I will take you. No problem, I will take you before, whenever you will join in, then we will take you. Okay, now I will invite my next youth guest, and she is Miss Srishti V. Kakade. Miss Srishti, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well as the earlier youth guest. Now we would like to know from you your views on generation gap. Miss Srishti V. Kakade, please.
Yes, sir. Respected chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi ma'am, respected Mr. Lal Goyal sir, all youth guests, very good morning to everyone. I am Srishti Kakade from Baramati, Maharashtra, and I am a student of BSc Horticulture, pursuing my degree from College of Horticulture, Pune. Now, generation gap. Each generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it and wiser than the one that comes after it. And this disbelief gives rise to generation gap. Now, society is full of a variety of people. Rather, I would say a variety of generations with different cultures, age, beliefs, and for a well-versed society, as well as a well-developed society, there is a great need of coordination among the generations, a sense of understanding and peace, which can only be created by bridging this generation gap. This gap can be seen maximum times between parents and children, and even at the workplace among the employees of different age groups. Now, talking about the family, the main cause of generation gap here is lack of understanding between the parents and children. Now, here parents should understand that the way of life and world is different than it is now. And even the mindset of children is different. They should accept the way of living of their child. And on the other side, children should have a clear understanding that parents have different gems of experiences when and how a particular diamond from those gems will enlighten us, we never know. So respect their teachings and beliefs. The next important tool that will bridge up the gap is interaction, discussion, which is lacking in the families. As the youth guest told earlier, nowadays, due to digitalization, most of the quality time is being spent on mobile phones. Now here, I would like to suggest that at least have one meal of the day with your family together, wherein have positive discussions with children, speak on their generation topics, become your child's best friend, and then see the magic, how quickly the gap will get decreased. Now, talking about the society, understanding needs of each generation, identifying the strengths and weaknesses of different generations and accepting them, compromising for some instance will also prove beneficial. Now, open up discussions and social events should be organized wherein different age group people can participate here. They can figure each other out and this gap can be reduced. Now, I would like to consider examples of some eminent personalities. Firstly, Dhirubhai Ambani and his son Mukesh Ambani. Both of them come from two different generations. Now, combining the experiences and thoughts of his father with his generation, thoughts and ideas, Mukesh Ambani could take his business to another level of excellence and could call himself India's most richest person. Now, what is the reason behind this? The reason behind this is both father and son first figured out each other. They maintained a balanced relationship. This led to a positive impact on their lives. Secondly, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his mother and his role model Jizabai, and his son Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, these three great people come from different generations. Jizabai dreamt for Sampurna Swaraj. Shivaji Maharaj made her dream his ambition and established the empire for people's welfare. And Sambhaji Maharaj led his legacy to another level. Now here, despite of having a tremendous age gap, they could combine their vision, their ideas, experiences, and think in one single way. This happened only because of balanced relation between these three generations. Now, from these two examples, the existing variety of generation can infer that accepting differences
I think we have lost you. Are you there, Mr. Sri? Are you there? Dr. Gandhi, can you hear her? No. Okay, we have lost you, but you have made a very important point, Ms. Srishti, and your point is very clear that according to you, there are generation. Are you there now?
Yes,
Miss-
sir, I'm there.
Okay, please go ahead. 1 minute, please. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So from when I actually lost the connection, I also
we can't. I can't say. When you are saying about, okay, you can conclude now. Whatsoever you want to say. Last.
so could you hear the examples which I quoted?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So the examples which I quoted regarding Shivaji Maharaj as well as Dhirubhai Ambani and Mukesh Ambani. So from those two examples existing, now I would like to infer or I would like to conclude that existing variety of generations can infer that accepting the differences, then understanding them can help reduce generation gap in the society, as well as it can develop a fruitful environment for the development of the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shrestha, and you have given the examples. Although I do not want to comment, but there is one more example, that is Dhirubhai Ambani and Anil Ambani. So there are difference, as our chief guest has mentioned, so many different people are there in the society. So it has happened. But you are right in one way that if the different generations sits together and solve the problem, then they can really know generation gap. But fault lies, or I will not say fault lies. It all depends. It's a developing stage. When there is a development, India is a developing country. When there is a development, definitely there will be a difference will come, because there is no fixed norms that one has to do like this. As our chief guest has mentioned that earlier, everybody was traditional. We will also become traditional if there is no development is there. Development in the technology, development in the construction, many more things. So people are becoming from joint family to nuclear family. So that's why these things are happening. But if there will be a stability, it will become a developed country after say 20 or 10 years or whenever, and it might be that the generation gap will reduce. And what I am seeing nowadays, the generation gap is reducing. Even the parents of this younger generation has seen, and they are learning, they have learned how to operate the mobile phones and how to operate computers. So they are not fools as the younger generation thinks. So they are also adopting and learning from the younger generation. Thank you very much, Ms. Srishti, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Ms. Sukanya Dey. Ms. Sukanya, yes, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well as earlier youth guest. Now you'd like to know your views on the generation gap. Ms. Sukanya Dey, please.
Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Hope everyone is doing fine and keeping healthy in these difficult times. I'm Sukanya and I work as a copywriter with an advertising agency in Ahmedabad called Communication Craft. And I thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this youth conclave and to speak about generation gap, which has been prevalent in the society from time and again. And I guess this 2000, this decade, this century is seeing it to the maximum level. It's like most of you have quoted that it's the difference between ideology, values, and perceptions between two different generations, from parents to grandparents to children or grandkids. But somewhere I feel it's not just the generations that we are talking about. I feel a generation gap between my eldest sister, who's just 5 years elder to me, or my younger cousin who's just 6 years younger to me. This is the result of the fast development, the globalization, or the exposure that each one of us is getting from time to time. And there is a lot of difference in which we perceive things, and this is creating the generation gap. And it's not today limited just to parents or the younger generation, which has a gap of like 20 to 25 years or something around. It can just happen within a span of 3 years, 5 years, as short as that. So where lies the problem? The problem lies in believing that what you feel, what your values, they are the best, and outrightly rejecting the other person's views, thinking that they have no clue about it. Either they are inexperienced, or uh, they haven't seen the world the way you have. I agree, they haven't seen the world the way you have, because they are born into a very different world than what you were born into. Uh, there's always a thing that parents might want to do, is to bring up their children with the same values as they have been brought up with. And they strongly believe that that is what is going to benefit the children. But because there are multiple things that have developed since the time they were born or they were raised, there are things that they might not understand in the new world, like said and mentioned earlier about the technology thing, which is way different. The way we interact with each other, the way we are expected to be in the society, there are it's not just about peer pressure. There are certain norms that have completely changed, and we need to be there, we need to follow them to be a part of society, to develop there. So I believe that parents or the elder generations should actually use their experience to guide the children, and not directly control them or control the way they want to raise them. Uh, let me put a simple example of a parent saying to a kid that I'm not objecting you to wear a jeans which my parents had objected to. And at this point, maybe the parents feel that they are much more open-minded than what their parents were, and they are giving their children much of openness, and they're allowing them to do whatever they want to. But I feel this is the major gap. It's not about wearing a jeans or allowing to do that their parents didn't. If you are allowing me to do what your parents didn't allow you, but you wanted to, that is what your generation wanted to. My generation wants to do something else, and if you're stopping me from doing that, you're actually being same as your parents were. So I would just like to keep it very short and simple. Like, it's a paradigm shift, and as said, change is the only constant. We are going to change. We are going to evolve. So, for the parents, I would just like to say it in one single sentence: is whenever you feel that your kids are different than what you expected them to be, just question yourself. Did you ever do everything similar to what your parents did, or did you want to change? And if you are like 80% different from your parents, your kids are going to be 100% different from you. So keep that open mind, and keep keep the communication open, keep the channel of compromise open, and keep guiding your kids so that the generation gap doesn't become a communication gap or an ideological gap.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sukanya. You have mentioned about the values. See, the values are changing time to time. But value doesn't mean that, like our chief guest mentioned, wearing the sari and wearing a salwar suit or wearing jean or a short, the values has gone down. No, it's a perception. What we are seeing today in our generation, the new generation is seeing in a different way, but the values are the same. Same means there is nothing, it has not become immoral that if somebody wear a short doesn't mean that the girl or the boy is not in a control position. No, they are as valuable as we were. So perception has to be changed. And you are right. In my opinion, personal opinion, the generation gap has been created by the senior persons more than the younger generation. Senior or the older person should change their thinking process, mindset, time to time, and see to it that whatsoever the new things are coming, either you adopt themselves, otherwise stop doing cribbling and stop your imposing your values or the views to the younger generation. Thank you very much, Ms. Sukanya, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Mr. Vignesh Pai. Mr. Vignesh Pai, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well as the earlier guest. We would like to know your views on the generation gap. Mr. Vignesh Pai, please.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, ma'am. My name is Vignesh Paike. I am a second year MBA student at Justice Institute of Management. So I would like to start with the quote which was said by Rabindranath Tagore. So don't limit a child to your own learning, for he or she was born in another time. This was the quote done by Rabindranath Tagore. And we know that everything is influenced with the change of time, the age, the culture, the mannerism, and morality. And we also know that all generations have their own set of values and views. But still, the gap has started impacting our lives and having a wrong way as well as the positive way in some extent. But generally, the generation gaps are found due to lack of proper knowledge or communication. And we all think that it is slowly fading, but it is difficult to practice rather than putting into a piece of paper. So thinking about that, there are a few examples quoted by my team, today's youth guest. So I would like to give an example of myself. I was born in 1998 and my nephew was born in 2017. There is a huge generation gap over there. So when I was born, I was not given a mobile or something. I was just playing with my cousins. Now our generation, they are born with the mobiles due to advancement of technology. Yes, all are agreed and all have told that advancement of technology has impacted the generation. And lastly, I would conclude that it is a responsibility of both the generations or any of the generations to fill this generation gap with three things. One is love, and one is affection, and one is trust. So this is from my side, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vignesh Pai. Love, trust, and affection. Yes, you are right. If we will have all these three, there will be no generation gap. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Mr. Vikramaditya MM. Mr. Vikramaditya MM, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sundari Gandhi, as well earlier youth guest. Now you'd like to know from you your views on the generation gap.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vikramaditya Marebar. I'm currently studying in the 10th grade in St. Teresa School, Mangalore. To start off, generation gap is simply a term for the difference of age between two sets of people. It's very natural. And the most profound case of generation gap is found between the parents and the children. The average age gap for the generation gap is known to be around 25 to 30 years. Now I'm 15 and my mom is 45. So what better example can I give? Now we get to see generation gap in so many aspects of our lives, like career. Now stand-up comedy is a viable option, whereas our parents would look at it as a very dangerous situation to be in. then there is food, then music, social norms, etc. But the most famous aspect of generation gap is seen in technology. And if we go a little bit deeper, we find screen time. Now, I have never heard a parent tell the child, hey, it's time for you to play on your phone. Here you go. But I've heard my own parents tell me, do you have no life beyond that gadget? What does that thing have that the nature doesn't? And most importantly, this, your eyes will dry up. Now, even though it is true that technology does have negative effects on us, it is also true that technology is our future. My life is going to be filled with gadgets. So I cannot really blame the parents for saying so. Me and my mom each grew up with different environments. I'm growing up in an environment where technology is everything, where the internet dominates our lives, where everything is getting digitalized. Whereas my mom grew up with trees by her side and the sun always shining over her. So there is a lot of difference with how we were, being grown up. And so one day, what happened was, I was using my phone for too long, and my mom, was angry with me for using my phone for too long. And thus, that day we got into a huge argument. Like, I want to use my phone and everything. And that is when I realized that generation gap does not only cause misunderstanding, but it also has the potential to stain our relationships. This constant back and forth argument with my mom slowly started to corrode a relationship. Now I had to find a solution to fix this. And the most efficient solution turned out to be communication. So I wanted my mom to know how my life is going to be. I had to know my way around technology. And all my mom wants me to know is that devices can have negative effects on us, however important it may be. So we talked, and everything has been fine since then. In short, I would like to say that generation gap is caused due to constant change in the world. Uh, it's important for us to understand each other. As we grow up differently, we grow up in different environments, leading to different futures. So let us, as youths, be the first ones to lend our hand to bridge the gap. Because remember, our roles will be swapped with the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vikramaditya, for giving your views. You rightly said about that your mother having trees and sunshine, because at that time no such type of gadgets were available like mobile phone. And she's also right, you are also right. So basically it's a, like you rightly said, the communication bridge is there. So one has to cross the bridge from both the sides. So she has to move forward and you have to move forward. And once you will reach on the center, you will find that she was also right and she will also find that you are also right. Once these feelings will come among the two generations, and there will be no generation gap. Thank you very much, Mr. Vikramadit, for giving your views. Now I will just see if Ms. Poonam is, I can see her. Are you there, Ms. Poonam? I can give you a chance for two. Yes. Yeah, please speak, Ms. Poonam. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hmm.
Very good morning to all of you. Myself, Poonam Kharat, and I am from Palas Mandal, Taluka Malsiras and District Solapur from Maharashtra. And now I am studying in Yeshwantrao Chauhan School of Social Work, Zakatwadi, Satara, MSW first year. And generation gap is a most interested topic for me. Generation gap is the difference between age of children and their elder ones. But now this gap is continuously increasing because of difference among values and ideas. However, I still believe that this gap can be filled with love, trust, and affection by spending time with each other. People belonging to the older generation lived in a joint family system and believed in sharing and caring. However, this concept has over the generation. The current generation wants freedom, and there is hardly anyone follows to the traditional way of living in the joint family. The overall lifestyle of people changed drastically. Uh, our parents think about our career like as a doctor, engineer, MPSC, UPSC, like as government job, etc. But they don't know other fields like as a we can do counselor, like as a another fields they don't know. So it is a most gap generation in the generation. We should tell them there is another field. They don't know, sometimes they don't know understand what are we doing, and they they don't know about in this field. So it is a gap between our generation due to growing technologies, science, and globalization. There are changes. Why came gap? Uh, because of changing technology, there is a gap between our generation. We should accept both. Generation gap is uh, not not good or neither bad. It is depends on our understanding. We should understanding both our concept, experience, and habits and behavior.
Please be.
Okay, sir. Now, due to mobile gadgets, there is a large generation gap. We should uh, tell our parents to uses of mobiles, good and bad advantage of mobiles. That's why they can understand our uses of mobile. We should make best friend. uh, if remove our generation gap, we should make best friend and share our experience, thoughts, and ideas with about this where we can use mobiles and technologies. uh, it helps to remove generation gap and to make mutual understanding in this type. There is a
Okay.
some solutions are removed to generation gap. Thank you so much, everything.
Thank you very much, Ms. Poonam. Due to your network, there is a problem. No problem. Next time, whenever you want to join, we will take you in the next session also. Thank you very much. Now is the time for our chief guest to say it now. Three minutes only for you, Dr. Sundari Gandhi.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure,
please.
Mr. Goel. It was really interesting to listen to 7 youth guests talking about this most burning, interesting problem, generation gap. Well, my conclusion is, starting with Aditya, Aditya felt that it is technology, it is lack of patience, and nuclear families along with Western culture, which is responsible for generation gap. But as rightly said by Mr. Goel, Western culture has got many other things. They are independent. They take care of their lives. Do we do that? No. So that cannot be the sole and whole reason for generation gap, right? Then came Apeksha. Apeksha had a valid point. She said that parents invest in their children, but they have an expectation. That is true. Parents, we, older generation, must remember that we must be totally sort of unexpected, or I won't say unexpected. We cannot have any expectations when we invest on something. Buddha said desire is the root cause of sorrow. Allow each child to actualize and grow up and do what they want to. And you as parents just guide them. Then came Poonam. Poonam said, let's have love, trust, and we can solve this problem. I'm coming to that. Before that, Srushti said, we have to take the wisdom from the older generation and help in bridging this gap. I love Sukanya's thoughts. She said it's a paradigm shift that has to happen between generations, which will help us to reduce this. As a psychologist, I would like to introduce a word here that's called attribution error. We have a topic called social cognition. We all have this attribution error. What is this? We believe I can do no wrong. And we also believe you can do no right. So older generation thinks, great, we are the best. You can do no wrong. I mean, you can do nothing right, but I cannot do anything wrong. That has to reduce. Then came Vignesh. Vignesh again said, let's reduce the generation gap with lots of love, trust, and affection. Trust, love, and affection can only grow and develop if you stop this attribution error, if you start understanding your own minds, because there is a generation gap within each one of us, between our own thoughts, ideas across the lifespan. Reduce that. And amongst generations, young are fighting with young. Let's not have that. Have the love, trust, and acceptance, right? And Vikramaditya had also had a very valid point. I love that Josh, that young 10th standard student. He says, I love my technology, Baba. And my mom keeps saying, go to nature, go to this. Beta, I have one point as a counselor to say over here. Nature, which we all grew up with, plants or whatever it is, does not cause negative addiction. But technology does cause it. Now, if you take, let me point out Japan as a society. They're a highly traditional society. They value their traditions. Wherever you go, you see it. But they are the most scientific advanced country in the world. Why? Because they respect the old traditions. They've taken the best from the old. So being in touch with nature will never get you addicted and to seek a counselor. But technology will definitely lead to digital addiction and problems. This is how I would like to conclude. And I think there is no generation gap. It is just our mindset that needs to be changed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sundari Gandhi. And as our chief guest said, there is no generation gap. And if it is there, it's the responsibility of both the generations to bridge the gap. And that is very easy. And the main crux is the communication. If the younger generation communicate properly or the older generation communicate properly, leaving aside their egos, then there is no generation gap. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, Newsgaon se Samvad Sarokar News, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you everyday new topic. But for last more than 1.5 months, we have started an evening program of half an hour where we call one guest who has achieved something in the society. And that today our chief guest in that program is Dr. Priyadarshini. She is Mrs. World Supermodel 2019 and chairperson of Harsha Modern Diagnostics and Modern Medical Centers and founder of Soulbeat Wellness from Mangalore. And the program is called Kal Aaj Aur Kal Lal Goyal Ke Sang at 4:30 p.m. So please do join in us at 4:30 p.m. for Kal Aaj Aur Kal Lal Goyal Ke Sang. Thank you very much, all my youth guests, for giving such a very, very vibrant and informative thoughts of you. And thank you very much, Dr. Sundari Gandhi. As usual, your thoughts are so highly, I must say, inspirational, motivational, as well as knowledgeable that I am also spellbound what to say about you. And I have learned so many things from you as well as the younger generation. I will try to change myself more so that there should be no generation gap between me and my grandchildren. Thank you very much, all the viewers also, for watching our show. Thank you.